ब्रह्मचर्यमखण्डितम्
स एव प्रथमं देवः कौमारं सर्गमाश्रितः चचार दुश्चरं ब्रह्मा ब्रह्मचर्यम् अखण्डितम् स एव प्रथमं देवः कौमारं सर्गमाश्रितः चचार दुश्चरं ब्रह्मा ब्रह्मचर्यम् अखण्डितम् स एव प्रथमं देवः कौमारं सर्गमाश्रितः चचार दुश्चरं ब्रह्मा ब्रह्मचर्यम् अखण्डितम्
सः that eva certainly prathamam first devaha supreme lord Kaumaram named the Kumaras unmarried Sargam creation Ashritaha under Chachara performed Duschara very difficult to do Brahma in the order of Brahman Brahmacharya under discipline to realize the absolute Brahman Akhanditam unbroken. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace Abhay Chandan Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. First of all, in the beginning of creation there were the four unmarried sons of Brahma, the Kumaras, who, being situated in a vow of celibacy, underwent severe austerities for realization of the absolute truth. Please repeat. First of all, in the beginning of creation, there were the four unmarried sons of Brahma, the Kumaras, who, being situated in a vow of celibacy, underwent severe austerities for realization of the absolute truth. Purport by Srila Prabhupada, Jai Srila Prabhupada. The creation of the material world is affected, maintained, and then again annihilated at certain intervals. So there are different names of the creations in terms of the particular types of Brahma. The father of the living beings in the creation. These Kumaras, as above mentioned, appeared in the Kumara creation of the material world. And to teach us the process of Brahman realization, they underwent a severe type of disciplinary action as bachelors. These Kumaras are empowered incarnations, and before executing the severe type of disciplinary actions, all of them became qualified Brahmanas. This example suggests that one must first acquire the qualifications of a Brahmana, not simply by birth, but also by quality. And then one can undergo the process of Brahman realization. Sorry. The sense of Bhagavatam. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakya Chakshurunmitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminithi Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschat Deshakarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasari Gaur Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare. So in this chapter named Krishna, भगवान सभी इनकारनेशंस के सभी अवतारों के सोर्स हैं. बिगनिंग में बताया कि हाउ द फर्स्ट इनकारनेशन इज महाविष्णु, द सेकेंड इनकारनेशन इज गर्भोदक्षाय विष्णु, द थर्ड इनकारनेशन इज क्षीरोदक्षाय विष्णु, एंड फ्रॉम द बॉडी ऑफ क्षीरोदक्षाय विष्णु सो मेनी अदर incarnations, multifarious incarnation इस universe में आते हैं. And then now it is explained that the first incarnation is first of all in the beginning of great creation. Sa eva prathamam, सबसे पहले in this universe जो supreme Lord है Devaha, he comes as empowered. He manifested in the form of Kumaras. He empowered Kumaras. It was Kumaras were the empowered incarnation of Krishna. Why they are called Kumara? Because they are bachelors, unmarried. And beginning of the creation, सृष्टि की रचना में शुरू में ये कुमार आते हैं. और 4 कुमार जिनको हम जानते हैं, they took a strict vow of celibacy, बहुत ही स्ट्रिक्टली ब्रह्मचर्य को पालन करते हैं, severe austerities करते हैं, and for the purpose of realization of absolute truth, भगवान का रियलाइजेशन करने के लिए अखंडितम ब्रह्मचर्यम. चचार मतलब they performed. Dushcharam, very difficult. So though it was difficult, but they performed austerity. किस लिए? The purpose was to realize the absolute truth. And one very new thing what Prabhupada is explaining in purpose, कि क्रिएशन जो है वो समय समय पे होती है, क्रिएट होती है, कुछ समय तक उसका पालन होता है, क्रिएशन का रचना के बाद पालन होता है, पालन के बाद उसका संहार होता है. अलग अलग समय पे सृष्टि बनती है, रहती है, फिर उसके बाद बिगड़ती है. तो अलग अलग क्रिएशन के अलग अलग नाम हैं. समथिंग एवरी क्रिएशन हैज अ नेम. जब भी सृष्टि होती है तो सृष्टि का एक नाम होता है. और यहाँ पे प्रभुपाद बता रहे हैं कि ये जो सृष्टि है इसको कौमार क्रिएशन कहा जाता है. कौमार सृष्टि. These Kumaras, as above mentioned, appeared in the Kaumara creation of the material world. कुमार जो है वो कब आए थे? उस क्रिएशन का भी नाम कौमार क्रिएशन सृष्टि है. And to teach us the process of Brahman realization, they underwent severe type of disciplinary action as bachelors. किस लिए they underwent severe austerity? One is to realize, second is to teach us. They are like acharyas. They do something. First is वो करते हैं क्योंकि वो खुद भी भगवान के शुद्ध भक्त हैं, भगवान का एसोसिएशन चाहते हैं करना. they themselves want to be realized, and then second is they want to teach us. और क्या सिखाते हैं हमें? The process of realization. And उन्होंने ये भी बताया कि realization is only possible अगर हम लोग some kind of discipline, हम लोग अगर, and not just discipline, severe type of discipline. तो हमारा के जो कुमार हैं उनके केस में तो बहुत ही सीवियर टाइप ऑफ डिसिप्लिनरी एक्शन उन्होंने मेंटेन किया. सो नाउ दिस इज समथिंग वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट हमारे लिए कि इन स्पिरिचुअल लाइफ पर्टिकुलरली, मेटीरियल लाइफ में भी, if something we want to achieve, then discipline is very important, right? Some particular discipline must be there. Discipline मतलब what is the word in Hindi? Discipline. Anushasan. So discipline is actually Anushasan. Just like we see even material world में, like the typical example is soldiers. They remained in whole day, morning से लेके night तक. They are very disciplined. And this particular civilization is called Aryan civilization. It's a very disciplined civilization. आर्यंस किनको कहा जाता था? जो स्पिरिचुअली एडवांस्ड होते हैं. जो स्पिरिचुअली एडवांस्ड होते हैं उनको आर्यंस कहा जाता है. जैसे भगवद गीता में भगवान कृष्ण अर्जुन को बोलते हैं अनार्जुष्टम अस्वर्ग्यम, है ना? तो क्या बोलते हैं अर्जुन को कि तुम एक्चुअली में आर्य हो, पर तुमने जो कार्य जो तुम बोल रहे हो वो किस तरह का है? तो योर लैंग्वेज इज नॉट बिफिटिंग यू. आप जो भाषा बोल रहे हो एक आर्य को एक स्पिरिचुअली एडवांस पर्सन को सूट नहीं होती है. व्हाट इज द लैंग्वेज ऑफ अर्जुन? अर्जुन क्या लैंग्वेज यूज कर रहे हैं कि इनका क्या होगा? विमेन्स जो जिनके हस्बैंड जब युद्ध में मर जाएंगे उनका क्या होगा? उनकी नेक्स्ट जनरेशन का क्या होगा, है ना? एंड वी शुड हैव कंपैशन, हार्ट शुड बी फुल ऑफ कंपैशन. एंड इस तरह के आर्गुमेंट्स दे देते हैं, which is actually completely on the platform of material emotions. But जबकि जो स्पिरिचुअली एडवांस होते हैं, स्पिरिचुअल एडवांस का मतलब दे हैव फेथ इन कृष्णा. स्पिरिचुअली एडवांस का मतलब है दे नो दैट देयर इज गॉड एंड दे हैव फेथ इन गॉड, दे हैव डिपेंडेंस इन गॉड. दैट्स कॉल्ड एडवांस स्पिरिचुअली. They know that beyond this body there is spirit soul, and वो जो spirit soul है part and parcel of Krishna, and executing the orders of Krishna is my first duty. They are called spiritually advanced people. They have the realization, not just theoretical. So in Aryan civilization where they are supposed to be spiritually very, very advanced. So when Arjuna was not speaking like a matured spiritual person, जो कि उन्हें होना चाहिए, he is supposed to be. He is the son of Pritha, Kunti Maharani, who is such a spiritually advanced personality herself. Morning prayers पढ़ रहे थे, such a spiritually advanced. वो बोल रहे कि भगवान के लिए भगवान को बोल रहे हैं कि कृष्णा, you are actually earthborn and material people cannot realize you. Still you have taken birth and you are performing such wonderful activities, pastimes which are bewildering to everyone. And you yourself have incarnated. आप खुद स्वयं आए हैं यहाँ पे. Actually you are able to conduct the whole universe just by your energy. But you have come yourself. This is such a big thing. And when we are in problem, your devotees are in problem, you are personally present with us. And this we personally have realized. और उन्होंने काउंट भी किया more than some 6 or 7 times कि when there was some difficulty, some problem was there, Krishna was personally present all the time. तो कुंती महारानी has realized जब devotees problem में होते हैं, but consciousness उनकी फिर भी devotee वाली होती है. So such a devotee who maintains a consciousness, devotee consciousness, even in problems, in suffering, they realize that Krishna is there with them. Actually, the realization of Krishna is very strong when a devotee goes through some kind of problem or suffering. And therefore Kunti Maharani has concluded that therefore I want these problems to come again and again. Because if problems are there again and again, you are always with us. If you are always with us, then there is no more birth and death again and again. Such a wonderful realization. Only problems are okay, but this repetition of birth and death is not okay. So let this better than birth and death coming again and again. It is better that problems come again and again. And हमारी consciousness क्या रहनी चाहिए? That she says कि हमारी consciousness ऐसी रहे जैसे just like the rivers, they are incessantly flowing towards the ocean. Similarly, our consciousness, attention should incessantly like river Ganga. It should continuously, constantly, it should float in your remembrance of you. तो अगर ऐसी consciousness रहे we always think of Krishna like the river, वो कभी रुकती नहीं है, not even a second, fraction of second, constantly flow होती रहती है. ऐसे हमारी consciousness में Krishna constantly flow होते रहे, हमारी attention Krishna में लगी रहे. In such a state of mind, if this consciousness is there, if this state of consciousness is there, then let there be problems again and again. There is no problem if there are problems. But with this state of consciousness, we will realize that you are with us all the time. And when you are there all the time, then there is no question of repetition of birth and death again and again. So, you are the son of such a spiritually advanced lady, Pritha, Kunti Maharani. You have taken birth in such a rich, spiritually cultured family. Coming in the race of Arya, those who are very spiritually advanced, and your words are not befitting you. Anarya Jishnam Aswargyam. With such kind of understanding, you will not even attain heavenly kingdom. Forget about going back to God. You will not even attain heavenly kingdom. Aswargyam. You will not attain heavenly kingdom. So such kind of Aryans, those who are spiritually very advanced, हम देखते हैं, they are also so disciplined in their life. Actually, those who are spiritually advanced, they are very disciplined. This is what is very important to note. To become spiritually advanced, it is important to practice discipline in life. And this is what यहाँ पे Prabhupada लिख रहे हैं, to teach us, these Kaumaras, they perform severe type of disciplinary actions. What is the meaning of discipline? Means back to back, there must be some activity, very disciplined way. For example, if there is time for Mangala Aarti, so sharp 4:30 we are in the temple. That is the meaning of discipline. 4:30 everyone is there. There is the meaning. Yes. Before Paunchal everyone is there. And then after Mangala Aarti, then chanting time. When everyone is there chanting japa nicely. So time should not be wasted. Our routine, morning to night, all the activity should be performed in a very disciplined way. And one who does so is actually called disciple. So Prabhupada ने disciple के लिए two important words बहुत ही repeatedly use किया है. One is a disciple must be disciplined, and second is a disciple must be obedient. These two things are very important in the life of a disciple. शिष्य in हिंदी में इसका translated word is शिष्य. शिष्य का मतलब है शिक्षक is the spiritual master, one who, और ये शश धातु है, शश धातु से क्षत्रिय आता है, शिक्षक आता है, शिष्य आता है, like that many other words are there. इन सबका जो रूट वर्ड है, संस्कृत जो है वो is not like any other language. Sanskrit जो है, its words actually comes from the root word, and जो root word है, that actually gives the meaning and purport, because one word को हम different तरीके से has many meanings, but when you come to the root word, then you will actually understand the root meaning, the real meaning. तो शश धातु का मतलब है to control or to be controlled. शश. तो क्षत्रिय को शश धातु क्षत्रिय आता है, means a person जिसकी क्या responsibility है, that there is a control, administration in the entire kingdom. Everything is nicely controlled. Nothing is out of control. King responsibility as a Kshatriya is to see that सारी जो चीजें हैं सब व्यवस्थित रूप से हो रही है, controlled way में हो रही है. All the Brahmanas, they are doing their duties, they are also controlled. All the Kshatriyas, they are also doing their duties. All the Vaishyas, they are also doing their duties. Everyone is doing their respective duty. That is the service of a Kshatriya, to oversee. इसी तरह से शिष्य, शिक्षक is to control the disciple. Guru is the word which means heavy on the disciple. Heavy मतलब not by weight. Heavy मतलब heavy by the instruction. So his words disciples should take the words of a spiritual master very heavily. Heavily, so something Prabhupada says, so we should not take it lightly. Whatever Prabhupada has asked us to do, that we should take very with gravity. So this Shiksha means to control, and Shishya means one who is controlled by the spiritual master. That is called Shishya. Just like Arjuna says, Shishyasteham shadimam tvam prapannam. Now I surrender unto you. Prapanna means I surrender. And now you please control me, Shishya. I now voluntarily want to be controlled by you, Krishna. You control me. I may be saying or thinking something So many things I am saying, speaking, but I want to be controlled. My intelligence, everything, I want to be in your control. So, this is the meaning of disciple. One is, he must be disciplined. Discipline means whatever Srila Prabhupada, the spiritual master, has said, the instructions go morning to night in a very disciplined way we should perform. And second is obedience. Obedience means whatever is asked us to do, we should do. The disciple should not question the spiritual master, why you are asking me to do. He just executes the order. And उस तरह से हमारे जो scriptures हैं वो बताते हैं that everyone, even the parents or those who are spiritually advanced, in the Vedic time, everyone जो senior थे, they were all advanced spiritually, and जो subordinates थे, उन सब लोगों को follow करते थे sincerely. Like the father of Parshuram, what was his name? Jamadagni, right? So father said to the son that your mother has done something wrong, which is not up to, which is not befitting to a wife, a chaste wife. So you must kill immediately. And what Parshuram did? Just obeyed the orders. This is called obedience. So much faith in the instruction of the senior, चाहे वो parents हो या फिर spiritual master हो या whoever is there, even elder brother also in some cases. So they just execute the order of their superiors. That is the duty, a disciple. Just execute the order. And they do not even question them, why you have asked me to do this. They do not even question why you are asking me to do. They are asked to do and they just did it. This is the meaning of obedience. And obedience is backed with faith. Unless there is faith, there is no obedience. So one must have full faith also. May not be the absolute faith, but one must have sufficient faith. And in the spiritual life, this is very, very important. The spiritual life with faith, when we obey, just like yesterday we were discussing some pastime. So even if the person who is superior to us may not be spiritually advanced, but the person who is under him, who is executing the order, will advance spiritually if he just executes. One place I was reading that one disciple asked Prabhupada, what Krishna wants me to do? What Krishna wants me to do? So Prabhupada says, Krishna just wants to see how you are obedient and to your spiritual master. He doesn't want to see what big things you can do for him. He just wants to see how we are obedient and how we are, as a disciple, how we are practicing our spiritual life. So यहाँ पे these Kumaras are empowered incarnation. The two kinds of incarnation, there are various kinds of incarnation. One is Krishna himself comes, or his avatars, like three avatara, Mahavishnu, Garvadaksha, Kshirodaksha Vishnu, they take incarnation, or there are empowered incarnation. The living entity, ordinary living entity is also empowered with the energy of Krishna or Vishnu. So when a living entity is given the energy of Vishnu to execute the function of Vishnu, to execute the activities of Vishnu. Vishnu is not coming directly, but he is giving his energy, his power to a living entity. It is called empowered living entity. that particular living entity is called empowered incarnation. So Kumaras actually are living entities only, but they are empowered by Vishnu. Empowerment is given for a particular task, work, and when the work is done, that empowerment is again taken back. Just like in the case of which incarnation? Parshuram again, same. So Parshuram was empowered in one time when there was unrest in the whole world because of the Kshatriyas. They were becoming very polluted in their consciousness. They were ruling and they became very dominant. So just to teach them lesson, Parshuram was empowered. He killed all the race of all the Kshatriyas 21 times. And then when Lord Rama appeared, then that meeting was there when Parshuram met Lord Rama. So after breaking that vow of Lord Shiva. So that was the time when Rama took back the empowerment. That actually it is mentioned. In that meeting, Lord Rama वो जो है उसको वापस ले लेते, that empowerment which was given to Parshuram. So it is given for a particular activity, for a particular pastime, and then again it can be taken back. So they are called Kumaras. They are called empowered incarnation, and Kumaras are such empowered incarnation. And before executing severe type of disciplinary action, all of them became qualified Brahmanas. This is again very important. Brahmana means situated in Sattva Guna. So this example suggests that one must first acquire the qualification of Brahmana, not simply by birth but also by quality, and then one can undergo the process of Brahman realization. तो ये सारी जो ये डिसिप्लिनरी एक्शन और ये सब प्रिंसिपल्स हमें क्यों फॉलो करने हैं? Because all these principles help us to realize what we are, who Krishna is, and what our relationship with Krishna is. So all the realization comes when we practice spiritual life in a very disciplined way. And which is actually a kind of austerity. So when we do that, then only we will get to the realizations. And unless there are realization, if we are doing just Krishna spiritual life with somebody practicing just for the sake of practicing, if realizations are not there, then it will bring lot of piety, but the understanding will never come. The faith will not develop. Only some piety will develop. And realization actually is directly, in one sense, proportionate to the faith. The more you have faith, the more you have realization. Like even in material world also, so many people they perform spiritual activities, but they do not have faith. They just do it and for the sake of doing, and they get so much of piety just by being religious, spiritual. So piety will come, but the faith will not come. And the faith will not come, then the realization will also not come. So any question? Anything? Based on what we discussed.
So in the starting you were discussing regarding the prayers by Yuti Maharaj. And that she is saying very beautifully that when the problems are coming, then I am able to remember you. So in our life also, when we are practicing the spirituality, we feel like when the things are not going the way they should, we feel like they should, and we feel like that it is not going in that way. We become little kind of dependent, and we become distressed also. But in that distressment, we become more prayerful, and we become little dependent. But when the little success by the Guragana Dharma is coming, we take some pride and like I have done this. It seems like this is negative thing. हमारे बहुत बुरा है spiritually अगर से कुछ होता है. So how to reflect कि कुछ होना is taken as wrong.
हमको क्या we have to develop the drishti. Now we see the things with our material intelligence. What we are seeing the world and translating in our consciousness is majorly with our intelligence, which is developed in this with material knowledge, logic, right and wrong. Broadly speaking, right and wrong. What is right, what is wrong is what we have learned here in this world from the childhood. This philosophy of right and wrong also, where from it has come? From this material world. So with that intelligence, we see the things. Oh, this is right, this is wrong, this is called wrong, this is called right. Logic, this is reasoning, everything. So what we are translating in our consciousness to what we are seeing in the world is with all this contaminated intelligence. Now what we have to do is, we have to develop the spiritual drishti, Shastra drishti, Shastra chakshu. And with those eyes we have to see the things in the material world, and we have to translate in that way in our consciousness. Just like in the Shastras it is revealed that even if there is something, there is nothing for a Krishna conscious person, one who sees the world in a Krishna conscious understanding, for him there is nothing called right, there is nothing called wrong. For him everything is actually the mercy of Krishna. Even if the suffering is coming, he takes it as the mercy of Krishna. And if something good is happening, that also he sees as the mercy of Krishna. So he sees hands of Krishna in all facets of life. चाहे वो अच्छी चीजें हो रही हो, चाहे खराब चीजें, everything what he sees is with Krishna's hands in there, in everything. Because he sees Krishna's hands in everything, the suffering also he takes as a blessing. Suffering also he takes as a blessing. And so good things also he takes as a blessing. The verses are there, so many tatte anukampa shishishtiyamana. So whatever is happening, Krishna, even so-called material suffering also is there. It is your anukampa, it is a blessing. So if we develop this consciousness, this drishti, now अब हमने जो है with the material knowledge, intelligence, what we have developed, material education, what we have received in the material world, we are seeing everything with that understanding. Majorly the understanding which defines what is right, what is wrong. We have to go beyond this right and wrong logic, material logic wali philosophy. But at least we devotees have to go beyond material right, wrong or logic. That even in our day-to-day activities, sometimes we say, Prabhu ये तो सही नहीं है, ऐसा नहीं होना चाहिए. प्रभु मेरे को समझ, आप जो कह रहे हैं ये लॉजिकल नहीं है. Many times we say, just like when there are some restrictions, he don't do like this, don't do this, some instruction comes. Say, Prabhu, this is not logical. So everything we are trying to see with our material intelligence. Whereas the principle of spiritual life is, जैसे बात करें ना, obedience. Even obedience is just beyond this logic. We have to go beyond this logic. No, my superior has asked me to do this, okay, I will do this. And that's why it is said, obedience is the first principle. Among all the principles, there are so many things which sets the principle कि क्या करना है, क्या नहीं करना है. The first principle is obedience in the spiritual life. जो precede करता है all other principles को. If somebody's so the superior said something, then just execute. That is actually the first principle. Yes, Prabhu. जिसमें there is no logic applied or no philosophy of right and wrong applied. Karmis cannot practice this kind of, but the devotees can practice. Some places like Prabhupada says, don't lose your intelligence, don't give up your intelligence. That is for the bigger boundary. Okay, some boundary must be there. A bigger boundary is there where Prabhupada says, don't give up your intelligence. Bigger boundary matlab, your superior is saying don't chant 16 rounds. So you must know this is crossing the bigger boundary. So there you don't give up your intelligence. So somebody will say, okay, next some few days don't come to Bhagawatam. Then you use your intelligence. Then you ask Prabhu why. Or you will say, suppose the superior will say, this is the book by so and so big sannyasi from Shankara Sampradaya. It's a wonderful book and so many nice things are given in this, so you please read this, study nicely. Thank you. You are intelligent. Don't give up the intelligence, don't become a fool. You know the bigger boundary. But actually in spiritual life, that's why in this boundary, bigger boundary है ना, इसके अंदर में क्या है the principle, इसके अंदर का principle क्या है? Just be a fool. Fool means don't use the intelligence. Whatever is said, you do it. Shri Nitai Garam. वो जो बिगर बाउंड्री के अंदर में क्या प्रिंसिपल है कि just be a fool. Just like Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, my Guru saw me, fool number one. Like that kind of fool, matlab in front of the spiritual master or the spiritual master's principle, whatever is said, just follow it. Don't use your intelligence in everything. All small things. Obedience becomes the principle. So when we are in some problem, then we see it with different understanding, different consciousness. And how we will be able to see when we read and while reading, if we can connect with some of the past, जो हमारा some instances कि okay, with this what I have read today, how should I have acted in such and such instances? So if we can just do some exercise, if something happens like this, I should be acting like this. So we have to reflect in our life what we are reading. Say suppose if I am in this situation, then according to what I have read from Prabhupada's books today, so I should have acted in this way. This should be the right way of doing the activities. Even we also know day-to-day activity. थोड़ा हम reflect करेंगे, we know कि आज पूरे दिन में the dealing with devotees कहाँ पे, where we were wrong, where we were right. So some bit of exercises we do, then we will understand or we will develop this. Just like when problems are there, when problems are not there, then you can actually practice even problems are there how we should act. what should be our consciousness. Then gradually it will develop. One is by practice, another is by natural also it will develop as we advance in this spiritual life. Like our routine sadhana activities, if we are doing very nicely, then the natural sense will also come. Yeah. One question. Srimad Bhagavatam की जय, Srimad Bhagavatam की जय.